Welcome to Something Unoriginal. I'm your host, Bodie Glass, and I'm here with my best boy here, Colby Barton. How you doing today, man?
Doing so good. How are you doing,
I'm
Bodie?
doing great. Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited just to talk to you, dude.
Yeah,
I don't ever really get to see you.
That's the best part about this, man.
Yeah.
Free form. We could talk about whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we had the fire going for anybody at home. Again, signature of the podcast. Wish you could all join us here, but tune into the fire while listening. You might hear a crackle or two as the time goes on. But yeah. So Colby, we kind of briefly mentioned certain things we want to talk about before this. Just to give a little bit of a structure. Not too bad, but
have a plan, game plan.
Yeah, a little bit of a game plan. The Utah Jazz just announced that they're bringing back the Delta Center.
Let's go.
How do you feel about that?
Honestly, kind of excited. I like the Vivint Center. Vivint Center is way better than Energy Solution Center or whatever it was called, Arena. But Delta Center still probably number one.
I just feel like it sounds so much better.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they've had to use like Arena, like Vivint Arena.
Yeah, it's Vivint Smart Home Arena. It's like 5 words, bro.
Yeah.
Delta Center.
Two words, baby.
Easy, bro.
Oh, rolls off the
Energy
tongue.
Solutions Arena. That's just
That's just
disgusting to say. Yeah.
That just hurts.
Yeah.
I always thought Energy Solutions was like a poop plant, like a waste management plant.
What even is it?
I think what they did was like nuclear waste, but that doesn't sound right.
Really?
Yeah, that they would go and dump nuclear waste.
I know I've looked it up before, but I can't remember what it is.
Should we look it up now?
Yeah.
Find out what Energy Solutions actually does?
Yeah, we gotta know it.
Yeah, I wish I had any idea. I feel like I've seen videos of like their process of how they get rid of waste.
Yeah, they used to have commercials.
Yeah, they did.
They had Energy Solution commercials.
Okay. Energy Solutions, headquartered in Salt Lake City, Utah, is one of the largest processors of low-level waste in America, making it one of the world's largest nuclear waste processors.
Oh, nuclear waste.
There we go. I had no idea.
Do we even have We probably have nuclear power plants in Utah. I don't even know.
I don't think we do.
What waste are they getting rid of?
What a stupid thing to...
Yeah, I don't know. Why are they in Utah?
just digging holes out in the middle of nowhere here in Utah. That's probably why.
That is one thing I want to learn more about, though, actually, is like nuclear energy and like why we don't just always use it. Because it's like relatively dangerous, I guess, but I don't know. I don't think it's that dangerous, I've heard.
From what I understand about nuclear waste, it's actually really, really safe now.
Yeah.
But
people are just scared of, what was it? Like
Chernobyl,
yeah. It just sounds scary.
It does, doesn't it?
But that's why we got Energy Solutions, bro. They'll take care of us.
They'll take care of all of it.
Yeah.
Nothing's blown up on their watch.
Yeah, bro.
We're not blowing up all of Salt Lake County. Plus, they're not going to put it in Salt Lake. They'll put it Tooele, maybe.
Yeah, we don't need Tooele. So.
Screw Tooele.
If you're listening in Tooele, apologize, but we're going to send all our waste there. So.
Yeah, you kind of live in a shithole, so it's okay.
Exactly. Have you been watching much of the Jazz, though?
Here and there, yeah. How about you?
Dude, I don't watch them because they're impossible to find on national TV. You have to watch them on crappy pirated sites. That just I don't know. It's annoying. Like I have YouTube TV purely so I can watch things like the Jazz, but literally no games are on national TV this year.
Really? Oh yeah, they're all on AT&T Sportsnet.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I had to get Fubo for it.
That's why the NFL is number one right now, in my opinion. But
they do make it easier to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah. Playoffs start today.
Really?
Yeah.
I know so little about football. Will you give me the rundown? What's going on with the NFL?
Yeah, dude. Playoffs start today. Wild card weekend it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how that works. Honestly, NFL playoffs have always confused me. Like I watch so much NFL. Like every Sunday, I'm watching almost every game, or like not every game, but like I watch a game almost all day. Mm-hmm. So like probably like 5 games on Sundays, and then every other game on Thursday and Monday. But yeah, I don't know how the playoffs exactly work, but yeah, it's wild card weekend this weekend. I know the Niners play the Seahawks, I think, today. So that'll be good. Green Bay's out. It's probably my favorite team. I don't know.
It's all about the Packers, man.
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite NFL team. I like cheering for the Packers simply because Have you ever watched Pat McAfee's show?
Mm-mm.
He does like a sports talk show,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, on YouTube.
I've heard of him. I know kind of who he is.
Yeah, he has Aaron Rodgers on every Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Isn't
So,
it based out of Green Bay?
No, they're in Indiana, actually.
Oh,
Because
weird.
he played for the Colts, Pat McAfee did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, yeah, they're all out there. But his co-host, AJ Hawk, he played for the Packers.
Oh, I see.
So he was kind of friends with Aaron, I think, and like got all that up. So sometimes I cheer for Green Bay just because of Aaron and AJ, but also I like the Dolphins. They play today as well, I think. No, they play tomorrow. They play the Bills tomorrow, I think. But
The
Dolphins
game
are
is
dope.
happening at some
Yeah,
point.
Their coach is sweet. Their coach, like every time he does an interview, he's like seems like he's stoned out of his mind, and he's just
Really?
like the most unprofessional NFL head coach you'll ever see in your life. He's just like, man, sometimes we just gotta score more points than the other team. Like, I don't know, it's kind of funny. Like, that's how we win. Let's go team. Like, straight up, that's what he acts like, and it's hilarious. But I don't know. I really like the NFL. I wish I could watch the NBA more, but it's
Mhm.
literally impossible.
Dude, it is so hard.
I still think the NBA playoffs are maybe the most hyped playoffs of all sports.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, NBA playoffs are so sick. I mean, probably only falls behind, what, March Madness? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't ever really watch March Madness, but I'm always
Really?
like somewhat following it a little bit. You know what I mean? But that's just
Yeah.
because I don't really care for college basketball.
Yeah, I don't either, but I'll get into the March Madness, especially, like, I don't know if BYU's in it or something.
That makes
I don't
sense.
know.
Would you consider yourself more a BYU or a Utah fan?
Bro, I'm still a BYU fan at heart, but, like,
Really?
I really don't care for college sports almost at all anymore.
I'm with
But
that.
when I do, like, I've been to like 2 BYU basketball games this season, actually. I got free
Really?
tickets twice, so I was like, sure, I'll go, whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. I want to be a Utah fan because they're way cooler and better in every way. But, like, some reason deep down, I just have to stay a
You're just
BYU
holding
fan, and
on
I
to
hate it,
BYU.
bro. It's, like, so dumb. I wish I could, like, I don't know. If I became a Utah fan, I feel like it would be fake. You know,
I'm with that.
I'd feel like I was a fake, like, oh, I'm just going to the winning team, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not even Mormon anymore, but, like, I still have to cheer on BYU. I don't know why.
I'm with
Just
that.
how I was raised. I don't know.
Because you're in Utah County, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because you're in Utah County.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What is your favorite sports playoffs? I guess, what do they do in F1?
F1 doesn't really have a playoff.
It's just points all season.
There's just points all season, yeah.
That's
So
lame. They need to fix that.
They should. I know NASCAR kind of makes it a little bit interesting. They have like an actual playoff, and you can qualify, and then
Yeah, dude, they'll get way more viewers if they just call something a playoff. They don't
Oh yeah.
even, like, I don't know. They're already blown up, I guess.
Well, yeah. That Netflix series is really all they need right now. But
But I still need to watch that.
dude, it's really good. In fact, season
Is
5.
it just all about Max?
No, Max is hardly in it actually.
Good.
So it originally started season 1. Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari all opted out of it. So the 3 best
Out of
teams.
the season?
Yeah, out of the first season of the show.
Stupid.
And so they were like, we don't want to be part of this Netflix series or whatever. And then it ended up like being really successful after the first season. And they were like, okay, yeah, you can
throw us in.
We'll be in it for a little
Why
bit.
didn't they want to? I'm just trying to think. Like, did they think they'd paint him in a bad light or would give away secrets or something?
I think they were just uppity.
Distraction.
Yeah.
Because they do something maybe similar to that in the NFL. I haven't watched the Netflix thing for F1, so I guess I don't know. But in the NFL, they'll choose like 2 teams or 1 team. Actually,
Mhm.
I haven't really watched it, but I've heard a lot about it. And they'll just like follow that team around and like be inside the locker rooms all season, and it's kind of cool.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
They have a
called.
Netflix series?
Yeah, I might be getting it. No, it's not on Netflix. It's on maybe like an NFL Network thing. I don't know. It might be called Hard Knocks, but it's kind of cool. It's a lot of teams think it's a curse. Like if you have them come in and watch it, then you're bound to lose. Or like a lot of them are worried it'll just be a distraction. You know, so
They just, like,
a lot
won't
of
make
teams
the
don't want to
playoffs.
do it. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that's what Mercedes and was it Mercedes and Red Bull?
Mercedes,
And
Red Bull, and Ferrari, I think.
Ferrari.
If I remember right.
They
I
are
don't-
the 3 most like uppity, prestigious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were the
prestigious
3
ones.
best teams, and I think they were just like, we don't really need
Yeah.
this.
So, like, what did they do? Did they go into the teams and, like,
Mm-hmm.
film a bunch of stuff? So, do you think they could have been worried it was, like, a distraction type thing?
Maybe. I don't know, because they've done it since, and I think some drivers and some team owners or team principals don't really like it as much, but they still sign in for it, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
But, like, for example, season 1, pretty much most of the season was following, like, Daniel Ricciardo. and like his drive.
So one season of the show is a single season.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like they're following that season.
Yeah, they follow the whole season
Okay,
of the
cool.
of the.
So
Yeah,
this
the whole
season's will come out like when, next summer or something?
So part 5, season 5 of Drive to Survive, I think they announced February 25th is when it's coming out.
Because the season's over, right?
Yeah, season finished.
Max won.
Yeah, Max Verstappen's the champion.
Did it go Red Bull 1 and 2? They win the
no, Red Bull
Constructors Cup or whatever?
Yeah, they won Constructors and they won the Drivers' Championship, but the second place in the Drivers' Championship actually went to Charles Leclerc.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Who did he race for again?
Ferrari.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Mercedes kind of struggled this year, man. It was bad.
Yeah, Mercedes. Well, every race. Well, actually, the one race I watched on your birthday,
Mhm.
or like for your birthday, that Mercedes did pretty good.
They did, man.
They almost took first.
That Austin race was a good race. Weren't they
Is
like
that
2
where
and
it
3
was?
or something like that?
Yeah, something like, or 2 and 4. Like,
I
but
wanna
they
say Max
definitely went down to like 3 laps left, and Hamilton was in first, and then the other guy
Oh,
just had better
yeah.
tires, I think, and beat him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Max beat him. Yeah.
Max Verstappen.
Dude, I would watch more F1 if it wasn't at 2 in the morning all the time.
I totally get it though. I really do.
And I just can't watch recorded stuff like I've mentioned.
Yeah. What is that? What you want to elaborate on that? Let people know what it is that.
I just don't like watching recorded games of any sorts. Like anything that has like the exciting part is the outcome. Like I can't watch something that's recorded, or else I'll just like look up the score. I can't stop myself. I'll just look up the score, who won, and then be like, well, there's no reason to watch this game. Let's go do something else. But like if it's happening in real time, it feels like, not that I can make a difference in any sort of the way, obviously, but like it feels like I'm actually part of the race or part of the game. And so like it just makes it way more interesting. Like truly anything can happen. Whereas if it's already happened and it's recorded, like still watching the game, anything could happen, kind of.
I'm with
but it's
that.
already happened. So it's like not anything can happen because there's already I don't know. There already was an outcome that was destined, but I don't know.
It's funny you say that too, because I remember like, out of all the races of the year, most of the time I'll watch them like an hour after they start, so they're still going on by the time I
Right.
start them, but they're done by the time I finish.
That's fine.
Really?
Wait.
That's fine.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, never mind. Not for F1. But like I thought you were
Well, like
saying,
anything else, right?
well, like for football games, I'll still skip to live, but my dad loves like starting late just so he can skip commercials.
It's not a bad idea.
It kind of drives me crazy, but it's better than just watching a fully recorded
Yeah,
one, you know.
that's true. That
in
makes
my
sense.
mind. But yeah, no, I can't do that.
But I remember the Austrian Grand Prix. Like, I had looked up the result prior to it and knew that Charles Leclerc was going to win. And then the entire race, like the last 15 laps, it was like super up in the air. So I'm watching it like recorded live and
Right.
having them be like, is he going to pull it off? Is he going to do it? He's having a throttle problem. Like, what's going on? And then knowing like in the back of my head that he is, but still kind of feeling that anxiety of like, he might not do it.
So do you feel like it was just as good? As if you didn't know the outcome?
I would have probably rather not known.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
for
the
sure.
whole thing. It's like, I don't know. It's just better to not record it. And like, I don't know. If I'm wasting my time watching a 2-hour sports event, like, I want to get the most out of it.
Mhm.
Like, and if I can't, then I'm just like, I'll go waste my time doing something else. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Well, with jazz games, I'm the same way. Like, I'll just
Yeah.
get the score because I am signed up for alerts,
Yeah.
and I have them all recorded, but I will never go back and watch them
Yeah. No, never.
because we use Fubo or whatever to watch jazz games, so we can see them all right. I have them all recorded. Not happening.
Yeah,
Not going
and
back.
say that like the team loses by 20. It's like,
Yeah.
who in the world is going to watch a recording
Not
where you
going
know
back.
they lost by 20?
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst idea ever. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going back. Plus, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go back and watch that game, and then like 20 minutes later, we'll be like, well, I already know the outcome.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
no, exactly.
They beat Orlando by 4 or something like that. You know, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly that's like where my mind is at on why I just have given up on watching any
I'm with that.
recorded, because I know it just will be less exciting for me. So it's like, why even get started?
Yeah, for sure.
So F1,
I
keep
feel like
doing races in the U.S. and you'll get one more viewer, I promise.
we're getting one more this year, man.
Yep.
We're getting the Vegas Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, true.
Mhm.
Have you got tickets to that?
Dude,
Are you still on the wait list? Is
I
it
was
still
on-
possible?
Well, I was on the wait list. Then they released the tickets. I signed on that day, like 5 minutes after they released the tickets, to get some. They were like $2,500
Yuck.
for one ticket. I was like, no.
Let's just buy a hotel room on the strip.
Let's do it.
Watch out the window.
Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, they can't stop us.
Or we just go to the Mexico City Grand Prix.
Ooh, that could actually be cool.
Do you want to come?
Mexico City. The problem with Mexico City is like hours away from any beach, right?
Yeah, super far.
Mexico City.
But it's a huge city. There's so much.
I'm trying to remember if that's the place me and Darby had tickets to go to once, or not. I don't know. But if
You were gonna go to Mexico one time?
well, we did go to Mexico, but we ended up. Well, we had tickets to Mexico for our. Was it for our honeymoon? No, it's for something else. Oh, but we still had to cancel it because of COVID. Oh no, we woke up the morning of to go to Mexico, and Darby couldn't find her passport, so we were like, "Shoot, well, we don't want to be out all this money." And so we just blamed it on COVID and got a full refund.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what happened. Worked out well, but then we ended up going to some other place in Mexico that La Steca Porcina.
What?
I don't even know if I said that right.
You may have.
I've said it right like twice ever, and Darby has to tell me if I say it right, but when I do, I get so happy. So I'll have her listen to this, and she'll have to tell me if I said it right or not. It's either La Steca Porcina or Huasteca Porcina. Something like that.
I have no idea.
But literally, there's not another white person the whole time we saw. Like, we didn't see one other white person besides. Okay, I lied. We saw one German couple.
German couple.
Yeah, they were just like hitchhiking around the world.
That is so
it was
cool.
crazy. Yeah, but like, yeah, no one spoke English. It was like a place where a lot of Mexicans will go to vacation. But it was awesome. Like the coolest waterfalls I've ever been to.
Dang, that's
Insane.
interesting. How many other countries have you been to? You've been to Canada, right?
Been to Canada. Been to Honduras.
Really?
On a cruise.
Oh.
Cruises are like cheat codes for visiting
They
other
really
countries, bro.
You almost feel like it doesn't count, though. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I was there for one day, bro. But it was crazy. I just remember, like, I was maybe a junior in high school, maybe sophomore. But I just remember them saying, like, because Honduras is the most dangerous country in the world, I think. Like,
Really?
yeah, like, they just kill each other out there. It's crazy. So we were going, I think we were kind of nervous, but it was a lot of fun. I don't remember exactly what we did there, but.
Dude, Honduras is weird.
Yeah.
Every Honduran I've ever met is either really, really prideful or one of the most chill people I've ever met in my entire life. And there's no in between.
Yeah, no, I worked with a guy from Honduras.
Really?
His name was Hector. He was chill. He was
Was
cool.
he the one at BMW?
No, he was out in Solar City with me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of, was his name Caesar? That you worked at BMW with?
Oh. Like the guy that did detailing?
Yeah.
Bro, I don't even remember his name. I think it was Cesar. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember Logan saying Cesar all the time. So it was either Caesar or Cesar. But yeah, I remember him. And then there was Mario.
Okay.
And who I was closer with. And there was
He was
one,
How many of you guys worked at BMW? I remember that being like a huge
Chase. Just me and Logan, honestly.
deal. Oh, really?
Out of like our close friend group.
Yeah.
But yeah, BMW was a good time. And then I went and worked great old Sprint with you.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
That was a good job. Shouts out to Corey and Trace. Miss those guys.
Trace messaged me the other day.
Really?
Yeah, bro. And I can't remember what he said. I think he just made fun of me for something. But it's like the first time I've talked to him in like 4 years.
Yeah, I haven't seen Trace in years. He's just railing on you.
Yeah, but we should get together and do like a quadruple date night with Corey and Trace.
Let's do it, man.
What was the girl we worked with name?
Was she the one that sold like Cutco knives and stuff?
I don't know. I just remember she got fired the day I got fired.
Oh, was it Clarissa?
Dude, that sounds right.
I think that was it.
That sounds right.
She was kind of a weirdo.
What's your favorite job you've had?
Oh, man. That's a good question. I feel like my favorite company I've ever worked for was Fidelity. They were the best. But I was not fit for that job. I couldn't be on the phones. It was too anxiety-inducing and didn't want that. But
Being on phones is tough.
yeah. I feel like I can take phone calls and stuff. Like, that's not the huge deal. It's like dealing with people's retirement accounts and stuff.
That
and, like,
is stressful.
And having them, like, breathing down your neck, figuratively, you know?
Yeah.
Being like, what's going on with my Roth? And you're like, I don't know. You made bad investments. And they're like, no, I didn't. You made the bad investments for me. And you're like, nope.
No.
You made these investments. Like, stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's tough.
It was hard, but.
The stock market's kind of in the poop hole right now, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Time to buy.
Yeah, no, straight up, it really is. I feel
Yeah.
like whenever it's time to buy, I never have money, and then when it's like at all-time highs, it's always like, dude, I got like 2K, I could just drop on any
Right.
stock right now. But
That's
then when it's low, it's like, this is suspicious. I have no money right now. Why?
that's exactly how it is for me too.
Yeah, it's like I want to buy right now because everything's tanked, but
Hmm.
I don't know. It's interesting.
No money, no problems.
Yeah, dude, I feel like the whole financial world is like such a hard thing to predict. I feel like everyone's always like, oh, you gotta invest in this, you gotta invest in that. And like,
Mhm.
I do think investing overall obviously has good trends, but I don't think anybody knows what they're talking about. Even the pros, dude. I really don't. I don't know. I think people just get lucky.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
straight up.
No, I'm with that for sure. I think the only people that know are the people that control it.
Yeah, that are
You know what I
in the
mean?
company.
Yeah, or even the people that like.
Or you saying like the government with the interest rates and stuff.
Well, I'm talking like people with huge amounts of money that when they buy the stock, the shares drop drastically, and then the value of the shares go up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's all it is,
Yeah.
right? There's more shares, the
Yeah, but
value's
is
down.
any one person selling that much?
No, but like hedge
Oh.
funds
True.
and stuff like that, where they're buying like
True. And they know
copious
what's about
amounts.
to
of them.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, it's weird, man. The market's cool, but it's there's a lot of variables that you cannot count on.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what the best like strat for making money off the stock market is. Like, I've lost so much this year. It's like, I mean, and it'll probably just come back. Like, I'm not worried about it. I haven't sold anything, which also I don't know if it's a bad idea. So it's like, I don't know. It's whatever.
Hmm.
It's just hard to tell. And if you're not like in the financial market, I feel like it is kind of just like blindly throwing darts.
Oh
and
yeah.
choosing how risky you want your dart throw to be.
Yeah, exactly. Do I want this to be a $10,000 dart or
Yeah.
a $2 dart?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's like, do I want to throw it at this really big board that doesn't give me that much money? Like, just buy like in the Fortune 500 kind of
Mhm.
stuff. Like, it's not going to be that risky. You'll probably make a couple bucks. Or do I want to like get really risky with it? I don't know. It really is just gambling. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gambling with more steps.
Yeah.
I guess not even more steps. It's just gambling.
It's just gambling. Yeah, it's literally so easy to. You just log on like your Robinhood. Boom. 2K. Let's bet on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Dude, yeah.
Are you going to have Austin on, speaking of gambling?
Dude, I reached out to him. I've talked to him a bunch about it. I referenced it in one of the episodes saying you'll probably hear him in the next episode, but he hasn't. We keep bailing on each other somehow.
Oh, Austin,
But
get your ass onto this conversation. I feel like
Yeah.
he'd actually be so cool to talk to about all the gambling he does. For those, have you talked much about him? Like, would your listeners know who he is?
I've mentioned him before in one of the episodes where I had kind of brought up. I think it was Drake's episode. I brought up that like he was in the World Series of Poker and made it to the top 40 in his very first round or whatever.
Insane.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Full-time pro, dude.
Yeah. I don't know how he
That's
did it.
cool.
I don't know how he made it to full-time pro so quickly.
Yeah.
But knowing Austin, like again, we talked about it in Drake's episode. Knowing Austin, he just devotes all his time and energy into that one thing.
Yeah. No, and he definitely can get addicted to different things, and right now it's poker, and he's crushing it. So
Oh yeah.
that's awesome.
Then maybe he'll keep up with it for a really long time. I kind of hope
Yeah,
he does.
no, he might. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it going anywhere soon, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting. He could play poker till he was like 60. Who knows?
He'd be good with it too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking of poker, though, you guys do poker nights on Sundays.
Every Sunday, come
Yeah.
play poker with us.
Let's do it. I need to get over there
Yeah.
for sure. But
You definitely should.
But how did this start? Do you remember it all?
Started at Will's house, a trap house.
Really?
They used to play poker over there, and I didn't ever play with them. And then they all moved, and I might have hosted poker once before they moved. I don't know. But then me and Austin one day were like, let's just make a poker table. So we made a poker table in a couple hours. Made the most like budget poker table of all time. Yeah, it's a piece of crap, but it's fun to play on, and
It works.
it's way better than like a normal table. Playing poker on a normal table is like terrible, but yeah, I don't know.
What makes it terrible? Because I'd known absolutely nothing about poker, so.
So like, if you put cards on felt,
Mhm.
like that has a little bit of padding, it's way easier to pick up. Like imagine putting cards on this; it's hard to pick up all the time. You
That's
can't just
true,
like
yeah.
put your finger under it. But since there's a little bit of soft padding on felt, and like underneath there's some padding too. Like we put just like another piece of fabric. You can put your finger under the cards better,
Interesting.
And also it makes shuffling your chips easier just because you can press down into the felt and it will push the other side up, just the way like physics works. Like
Yeah.
if you push down on one side of the chip, the other side's going to come up. So it's like, and you can't do that on a table unless you really push on the edge. Like, I don't know. Just makes it easier to deal with the cards and with the chips.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, smart people.
Yeah. Smart man for building a table.
Yeah, well, I want to build a really nice one, and I think Will really wants to build one, and somebody else did, but yeah, we might do like a building day in the summer and build a bunch of nicer ones. Because, yeah, me and Austin, we had like 3 hours to make one because we invited everyone over for poker. We're like, shoot, we need to make a poker table real quick. So, yeah, we just made that one. Originally
So
had purple
cool.
felt, but now it has black because my dogs ruined it. But
Oh, dude, I remember. Didn't you get the purple felt from somewhere like super weird?
no, just from like a craft store.
Oh, really? I felt
Yeah.
like I remember you getting it from some random, like, almost like your neighbor was throwing it out or something. But maybe I was
I
wrong.
wouldn't be surprised, but no, yeah, it was just from a craft store. All of it was, and then Home Depot for the lumber.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the outside, the outer edge of it's like some crazy rainbow thing, but that's also from the craft store.
I saw that, like the shiny pearlescent
Yeah.
edge to the. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Dang, man. Also, the other thing I wanted to bring up, so at my job, I have a coworker who calls me Pants because he says I always have the coolest pants. But I've told him before, I shy in comparison to the amount of cool pairs of pants that you have.
Dude, I have
And
no cool
currently,
pairs
you are
of
wearing
pants.
some of the coolest pairs of pants I've ever seen.
These are some nice pants, but I'm usually just wearing shorts nowadays, I feel like. But
Really?
I did used to wear a lot of cool pairs
Dude,
of
you
pants.
have the
That's a
coolest
good point.
pants. You have
Yeah.
inspired me to wear nice pants and cool pants. That's why I have pants.
That's so funny because nowadays, like, I cannot be asked. Like, this is the most I've dressed up in like 2 months, bro. Like, I
Really?
just wear shorts every day and a hoodie. Like, I don't know. I just wear what's comfortable now, and like, yeah, I don't know. I do want more good pants though. Like Preston and Logan, they have some cool pants, like the brand Cool, and those things are nice.
Oh,
Like,
they're called cool pants.
yeah, the brand is Cool. They're like an outdoor adventure brand.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cool belt, but
I love that that's the name.
yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I just haven't been shopping much really. Like I used to go to DI and always look for stuff, or like, but I just haven't been. So like, I do need just better pants because my current pants I have, besides like these and a couple others, like I just don't like that much. So I've mainly just been rocking shorts. But that's funny. He calls you pants. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, like walk in with like Fjallraven pants on and be like,
Mm.
again, doing it again, man. You're always wearing pants.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I got the Fjallravens on right now.
I was gonna say they look like some nice Fjallravens.
Yeah, but they're like tights. Did you know John Morris?
Uh-huh.
He worked at Fjallraven.
He did.
Oh yeah, you knew that. And
Yeah.
then he had these pants on and sold me on them. So that's
Really?
why I bought them. Yeah,
Dang, man.
but I like them. They're comfy.
It's a
and
lifetime warranty.
durable. Dude, that's my favorite. Is comfy and durable.
Mm-hmm.
Like at this point in my life, I'm fine spending a lot of money on things that are durable, like like a bunch of tools or like whatever I'm buying. I'm fine to buy like the nicer thing if I know it's gonna last like my whole life.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like we're still young, so it's like why not invest in nice things that are gonna last our whole lives? Like these pair of pants are probably gonna last me 10 years. Like
Oh, yeah.
as long as I don't gain too much weight. Like I don't know.
I'm with that.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
dude. No, that's true. I feel the same way. Like, I want to have stuff that I bought before my kids were born, and then by the time they're
Yeah.
adults, they can be like, Dad, you've had those for way too long. You'd be like, yeah, they still work.
Yeah. No, it's
They're
sick.
great.
Yeah. Do you collect anything? Maybe Nintendo games.
Yeah, as you can see, there's quite a few Switch games.
Dude, that's sick. What is your thoughts actually before we go into collecting
Yeah.
on hard copies of games and like software version?
That's a good question. So with the Xbox specifically, I'm only digital. Like, I have a physical copy of Elden Ring and a physical copy of Cyberpunk because they were on sale. But outside of that, like, it's all digital. But when it comes to like the Switch, for some reason, I feel like because it's a Nintendo console, I have to have the physical copies.
No,
I have to have a collection.
It's a real thing. Like collecting Nintendo games is very real, and like I hate it because every time I go to pick a game that I have a hard copy version of, I'm like, ugh, I have to go like
Yes.
get it out, put it in, and it's just annoying. Where digital's way more like just easy, but like the hard copies of Nintendo is just like I don't know.
You have
It
to.
really is a collection. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool.
You like almost have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something about it that you just, I don't know. I feel like you need to.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
The Xbox too, though, because they're all digital, I find myself playing the Xbox more now.
Yeah.
Even though like I've gotten a couple really cool Switch games recently, I just have been playing Xbox.
What games have you got?
I bought the new Pokemon.
No.
I bought Metroid Dread.
That have you played it?
I've played a little bit of it. Like
What are
maybe
your
I'm
thoughts?
like 5 hours in. I need to play more because it is fun.
Really?
Yeah.
I bought it and I played it, and it wasn't for me, but every other person I've ever talked to about that game loves it. So I don't know.
It is so
I
hard.
feel like I kept just like doing the same thing over and over again. So I was like, or getting lost. I hate when I get lost in a video game. In Dread, I got lost a couple times, and it's just like frustrating. I hate like having to find my way around a map.
Oh yeah.
And it happened to me in Celeste yesterday, and I pointed out to Darby. I was like, "Man, I hate getting lost in video games. It's so annoying."
It sucks.
Yeah.
That happened to me playing No Man's Sky the other day, and so like I got lost in a cave.
What's No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky is kind of like it's that procedurally generated game where you can like fly through space and like find planets and then like colonize the planet essentially.
It's all like so everyone's game's differently, or everyone's game is different. That's really interesting.
It's kind of I think it's online though too. So like it's procedurally generated online.
Is it you play it on Xbox?
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
I think they have it on the Switch now too.
So are you playing with other people online?
I know you can
Or is it only
see
your
other
world?
people online, but I don't know if there's actually other people online. Because when you fly to a planet, it'll tell you who discovered it.
So by procedurally generated, how does that work like in the game?
So you could fly there. I think somebody has been flying in the game for like 10 years, and it just keeps going.
Wait, actually 10 years?
Like
the game's been
legitimately,
out for 10
the game's
years?
been running for 10 years.
Holy cow!
There's a YouTube video on it. You should look up.
Dang, that's awesome. I can't believe that's so much data.
Yeah.
Like, how are they able to do that? Especially if it's an online multiplayer game, like, they're storing all that on their server somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So that's so much data. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've got no idea how to do it. It's a cool game, and I really like the concept. I can't get into it. It's too like obscure for me for some reason. And I've heard really good things about it, so I wanted to give it a try. But
Yeah, that sounds awesome. What's it called? No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky, yeah.
Maybe you've told me about it. Can't remember.
I'd be surprised if I did. I
Okay.
kind of played it one night, got like 5 hours into it, and then just kind of gave up. I think I started at like 8 p.m., finished at like 2 or something, and was just done. I was like, I can't do
didn't
this
pick it
anymore.
back up. Interesting.
Well, I was stuck in a cave for 2 hours that I couldn't get out of.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was
hate
just
that.
walking around, like, trying to figure out anything.
Yeah, no, I hate when that happens.
Get stuck in games is the worst. And I think that's why I haven't gone back to Metroid Dread. Is because you'll, like, there's no point of reference. You don't know where you're
sometimes you
at.
feel like you've ran the whole level, like, twice or 3 times or 4 times, and you still don't know what to do or where to go. And you're like, okay, I give up.
Yeah, like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then randomly you'll go through some door that you missed like 4 times.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it just like was in the it looked like it was a part of the background or something.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, I can go in that. Yeah, I feel that.
The very, very beginning of the game, there's a part where you have to like, in the tutorial, where you have to like crouch down and shoot the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And I got stuck on that. Literally for
Yeah.
my first hour of the game. And then just, I had to look it up and was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
Yeah.
You've gotta be.
No,
It's so
it's
stupid.
just so simple, and like I think a game that like for that example, like games that can put you in new situations
Mhm.
or like have to solve a new puzzle, but like it's super self-explanatory. Or like some of my favorites, like in Celeste yesterday, there's a similar mechanic. You have to crouch and then dash.
Mm.
But I'm like 5 levels in. I haven't beat the game, but I think there's only like 8.
Oh.
And so I'm like probably 5 out of 8 in, and there's all of a sudden this like really small area tunnel that you have to like go through. You can tell you have to go through it, but like the game has never brought up anything about this kind of thing before, and it's like just a weird movement mechanic. And then all of a sudden, like 5 levels in, it teaches me that I have to crouch dash. Like it was obvious what I had to do, but it didn't tell me, and it was like blew my mind that it took so long for like such a simple mechanic for them to bring it up in the game. But I thought it was cool. I don't know.
That's really interesting.
I feel like, yeah, they do a really good job of that kind of stuff in Celeste. But I did get lost once, so,
So
maybe
you
it's
still
not
hate
perfect.
the game?
I don't hate it. I actually
Just
still
kidding.
really like it. I figured out where to go after, I get really impatient. It was only like 2 minutes, but
Really?
yeah. I
You're like,
don't know.
where the hell am I?
Yeah,
And then just
exactly.
okay. I'll have to try it because again, I downloaded it. I have it.
It's a
I've
lot
never
like
touched it.
Dread in the fact form. It's just a platformer. It's a really
Mm.
cool platformer.
I've heard it's kind of hard. Is that true?
Yeah, but it's hard, but in a not so frustrating way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like hard, but in a fun way. Like everything's possible. It's a lot of problem solving as well. Like how can I beat this puzzle to make it not hard? Because if you really like sit down and come up with a strategy to beat each individual screen or whatever, then like you can come up with a way that's not that technically difficult to beat. So I think that's some good game design. I don't know. I think game design's an interesting concept. I took a game programming class and learned about game design. I think it's fun. I like being able to like think about that as I play games. Like what could they have designed differently that would have made this better for users? I don't know.
Do you feel like you know enough about that? Because obviously you're a programmer. You're a developer for DigiCert.
Yes.
What do you develop something completely different than games, obviously.
Yeah, completely different.
Do you still feel like as a developer when you're playing games, you'll find little things that you're like, "Oh, I would have done that differently."
Oh yeah.
Really?
Definitely. Even from I don't know if it's necessarily because of my programming background or not, but mainly just like from a game design perspective or like design perspective. And I feel like I'm really bad at design when it comes to like making things look pretty. But when it comes to like mechanical ways to accomplish things, I feel like maybe I'm not good at it, but it's something I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Is just like thinking and problem solving about how they could do it better and how I might have done it or differently in general. And same with like any program I use, like any software. I think it's a lot of fun when I use it. Like why, like come up with the best ideas I can to make the software better. I think it's a fun exercise and like allows me to problem solve in whatever I'm doing, whether it's using different Twitter features or using different like even mechanical features. Like I don't know, I think that just some of my favorite things to do in life in general, just like whatever I'm doing, thinking of the design around it and how it can be improved. It's fun. I don't know.
You're very analytical with that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's why I love programming, because like so much of programming is like a lot of people think you have to I don't know, it's interesting. A lot of people think like the hard part of programming is writing the code
Mm-hmm.
and like just like typing, but it's like no, like if you think about it like a book, like the hard part of a book isn't knowing how to write the words and put a period in a specific spot. It's making the book interesting and making the book work and in that way. And I think that's what a lot of programming is. And like we were talking about ChatGPT or OpenAI before, and Dryden's currently building a landing page with it, or some sort of web page with it, and like that's what I was talking to him about. I was like, ChatGPT could be awesome because the hard part of programming, honestly, or the human part, is coming up with a way to make everything work together, or to design it in a efficient way like that. And so you can use ChatGPT, be like, hey, build me a website that does this, and it will write all the code for you. So if you don't know how to speak the language of code, you don't have to. You just have to be a designer, and OpenAI can just write all the code for you. You can just tell what to do, and you don't have to know the syntax. You don't have to know where the semicolon goes, or the parentheses, or how to talk to a computer at all. You just have to know how to design something that works in architecture, or like build the architecture around it. So I don't know.
So how does that look though? Like on the ChatGPT thing, like when you're getting into, like when you're telling it to write an application or a Chrome extension or whatever it may be, like what essentially are you telling it to do? Because like for me, all I've experienced with ChatGPT is just like asking it a question and then having it like respond with a super intelligent answer.
Yeah. No, it will write full programs for you. I experienced some bugs with it when I was playing with it where it would just like stop writing code after like 100 lines or something. Which in programming 100 lines is like nothing. It's not enough to accomplish almost anything besides basic things. Like you can't build any large scale application with less than 100. I don't know. Digicert has millions and millions and millions of lines of code.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually don't know exactly how many, but there's a lot. Maybe just a couple million. But yeah, so it will write like the prompts I would give ChatGPT was like, write me a chess game, like write me a program chess game in Python, and it would build it. Or write me a program that does tic-tac-toe in C#. Or in Dryden's case, I assume he's saying, write me a web page or build me a web page that has this title, this body, this interactive link, this. And I think you can give it all those specifications, and it will literally write the HTML for all that stuff.
No way.
And so it's like really cool. And then he can obviously go in and like code is really easy to read, honestly. So he'll be able to see what the OpenAI writes, and then he can make quick tweaks to it. Like I think anyone could see an HTML page, and if they really sat down and studied it, like they'd say, oh, this is a header, and this is the words. Oh, the words correlate with these words that are on the web page. So I can change this, that will change that. And it's really easy to do that kind of stuff. So I think it would be helpful for somebody that hasn't programmed at all. And I think it would be interesting there's a couple times I had to ask questions in college on Stack Overflow for things I couldn't figure out myself. And I kind of want to go back and look at my Stack Overflow account it's kind of like a Reddit of sorts for programmers. Yeah. And
isn't it kind of like GitHub? Isn't GitHub similar to that?
GitHub's where you like upload your code specifically. Okay. Stack Overflow is more for questions specific. So
gotcha.
It's kind of like wiki answers or a Reddit type style where you can ask something and people will respond. Anyways, I kind of want to go look at all I think I only had like 3 or 4 questions in college on Stack Overflow, but it'd be cool to see if like OpenAI could go solve those problems I had. And I bet it would be so helpful for college students. Like,
oh yeah,
it could have wrote a lot of what I did in college for sure. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because, like I said, I think the hard part of programming isn't the writing of the code necessarily. It's problem solving on what you need to write and what you need to accomplish, really, and like what you want your end product to be and how it would interact with users. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
So for the listeners that wouldn't know what OpenAI is or ChatGPT, because I realize now that we probably are talking gibberish to people that have no idea, but if you hadn't listened to the last episode where we kind of go in depth on what it is too, it's just like this chat AI essentially that you can ask a bunch of questions to, or like carry on conversations or whatever. But the capabilities of it are like really interesting.
Mind-blowing.
Like we talked about, you can write code with it. I asked it a bunch of different weird questions and it would give you like lists of things, and then you can like say, okay, on this point will you elaborate further, and then it'll like give you more info. It's really cool. Apparently a lot of like high school and college students are like using it to write essays on things.
Oh dude, I had it write and like random essays, or like I was just playing with it, seeing how far I could take it, and I'd have it write like poems or like different essays or types of things. I'd be like, write a love poem about Sundance Resort, and like it would take the context and like fully write a poem about like skiing and like how you went and like to the lodge and like all the stuff. It's like, dang, like
that's so cool.
It's really impressive. And or like it could do like, I had it write documentation for different API endpoints that like I'm working on. I don't actually write documentation. I was just saying like, oh, I'm working on this endpoint in my job. I wonder if I did have to write the documentation, if it could do something as niche as like SSL certificate documentation for APIs, and crushed it.
Really?
Like it didn't write perfect. Like I would have had to make some word changes, but it wrote like pretty good documentation. It was impressive. So
I mean, it's still got to be proofread, but it's
exactly.
That's so cool.
And I don't think it's necessarily super helpful for professionals. Like I can't see, or professional programmers, I can't see many instances in my job where I could use it. Besides maybe like optimizing some code. Because like I said, the hard part of coding is actually the problem solving side of it, and not the writing down of code. Like it's coming up with what the problem is. Once you figure out what the problem is, the solution in programming is usually easy. And so like I don't think I could use it a lot, but I think in school and stuff it would be a huge help. I don't know. Well,
I've heard too though, like if you have a bug, you can enter in your lines of code and it'll tell you where the bug is.
Yeah.
Is it good with that? Have you tried it?
Yes. I haven't tried it. I've seen examples of it. But in a professional setting, like once I know what section of the code it is. So by the time I was copying and pasting the code into OpenAI to have it tell me what the problem is, first of all, there's hundreds of thousands or if not millions of lines in DigiCert's database or different large scale companies' data or code bases. So like it wouldn't be able to take the context of what you're giving it probably very well. Like even if it did, once I find where the bug is or what section of the code I think the bug is, finding the bug is the easiest part. Like it's finding like where in the code it might be. That's the hard part. And once you find where in the code a bug is, like it's very rare you can't quickly tell what's wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But it'd also be at a professional or at a industrial, maybe not industrial, but at a large scale level, it'd be hard to give OpenAI enough context to really solve major issues that you have. So
Do you think that'll change with GPT-4?
I think it'll be built into GitHub.
Oh, really?
Or different things like that. And there already are things kind of like that. Like every time I post my code to GitHub, it's read over by things that tell me what bugs it may have already. So that's already been a thing for a long time. But yeah.
Dang, that's super interesting.
So I think it would just be built into GitHub, or GitHub would improve what they do, or different. There's a lot of different softwares that kind of already do that, but I do think it could get way, way better with better AI. So
for sure,
be interesting.
Does GitHub have its own AI that it works with, or is it just like kind of it flags during certain like rules that are put up?
I haven't used GitHub. It's like relatively new. I know some of my coworkers have used GitHub's new features that kind of do that kind of stuff. I haven't played with it enough to really know, because like just don't write bugs. No, just kidding.
Just don't write bugs. I just write perfect code every time.
Exactly. No, yeah, I don't know. I haven't played with it a ton, but yeah, I think OpenAI or AI in general is just really interesting.
Yeah. Is that something you kind of want to get more into as time goes on, or do you want to stick with what you're doing?
Dude, I don't know. My original goal going into college was to start an automation business where I'd like consulting business where I'd go into different companies and say, hey, look, these are all the things that we can automate for you or make better, or we can link you to softwares that already do this kind of stuff but way better for you, or build custom software would really be the ideal goal. But I don't really know if I want to do that anymore. So starting a business just sounds like pretty stressful. And if I ever get to a point in my life where I feel like I want to make a lot of money, I know I'm capable of it, know that like I could go work my butt off and start a company and stuff, but I don't know. I'm kind of just really comfortable where I'm at right now, so
that's perfectly
chill.
fine.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably be at DigiCert for a little while, but after that, I don't know. I don't see myself starting a business soon, and I don't know. Maybe if I went and left DigiCert, I'd look for companies that already do that kind of stuff and just be a developer there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you'll stick around. You like development enough though that you'll be sticking around with that for a long time.
Yeah, I like all the problem solving that development provides, and how shielded I get from the sales side of things. So like, I think I'm good at sales, but I don't enjoy it always. I don't know. There's some areas where I think I could, but like as a programmer, I just get to problem solve all day, and like I don't have to worry about customers. And if you have good bosses that just trust you're doing your work and are on your side and backing you up and things like that, and like taking the fire for you from the executives who are like, we need this new feature. No. Like, it's super chill, and it's just a lot of fun. Like, I'm able to just like, problem solving is my favorite part of what I do. When I have to do tedious tasks, I don't love that side of development. But yeah, I love the problem solving. Or like, my favorite thing is when we have urgent bugs or we break Microsoft or something like that. Not for the fact of breaking Microsoft, but I find a lot of fun in the thrill of quickly having to fix everything. Like, the world is on fire, like, come up with a solution to this problem really fast, and that's a lot of fun for me. So I don't know, that's my favorite part of being a developer. The day-to-day is kind of fun. Designing new architectural systems or new APIs is kind of fun. Don't mind writing code. It's a lot of fun as well. So yeah, I really like what I do.
That's dope.
Definitely wouldn't hate it, but I could see things I would like more, like maybe starting a business one day, but I don't know.
That makes sense. Well, I know your parents were really into that too. Like, your dad's always on something, right?
It's like starting businesses.
Yeah, starting a business.
Yeah, he just sold his business, but I think that was like really his only business he ever did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or he didn't sell it, but he just like kind of stopped doing it, handed it off to my brother.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. None of my brother Kyle, he has like his Airbnb business, and Tyler's pretty entrepreneurial.
Entrepreneurial.
That's the word.
I got you.
Yeah. So, bro, yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
But I feel like, I don't know. We'll see if I ever start a business. I don't really have huge desires to right now, and I don't have huge desires not to.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm with that.
yeah.
Well, if any of my friends are super capable of doing it, but also have no interest, it's you.
I don't like. What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, if anybody's fit for starting a business out of most of our friends, you're definitely one of the few that could do it. But at the same time, you have absolutely no interest in doing it, so it's like it doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I have to grind something, I will. So I feel like I'm pretty capable of doing most things just because of that aspect. Like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes if I really set my mind on something. And I feel like that's what a lot of our friends are. And I feel like a lot of our friends want to start businesses, and I think it's cool.
Oh, totally.
See, we'll probably have a bunch of multimillionaire friends in no time.
That'd be very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's what, all our friends are. They're all really hardworking and capable of anything, including yourself.
Thank you.
It's
I
awesome.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing this for.
Yeah.
That's what the podcast
Why did you
is all
start
about.
the podcast? I haven't really talked to you about your podcast.
Yeah, that's a good question. You're the first person to ever ask me that question.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, I'm dead serious. You're the first person
Why
to
did
ask
you
me.
start it? What's your goals?
No, that's a good question. So, a few months back, so I love listening to podcasts anyway. Like, for my current job, Green Tech, I drive every day, like 45 minutes to an hour there and 45 minutes to an hour back.
Is that the solar company?
Mm-hmm. And so I listen to a lot of podcasts because I'm not super, like, able to just look up new music, and I kind of get sick of music really quick.
I don't listen to music, really.
Yeah, it's so weird because you and I were super into music in in school, but not anymore. But but no, I was like really listening to podcasts, and I was like, I want to do this. This sounds so much fun. Like, why not give it a shot? Build something or do a podcast. Like, all the people that I listen to, this is probably their actual like career, and so you got to start building it on your own, right?
Yeah.
And I think I had kind of like dabbled around with the idea a little bit, thought a little bit about it in my brain, and was just kind of like, I could do it, but I don't know. It's like a lot of work that I don't really know exactly how I would even go about doing it. It's kind of always a dream. And then I kind of was like getting closer to doing it. I remember asking everybody in Grease Gang, like, if I had a podcast, would anybody even listen? And a couple of people were like, yeah, totally. Like, I think you and Will. And then specifically, I think the thing that got me going was one time we were at your house in your backyard, like playing cornhole or something. And I was talking to Will. Shouts out to Will Durant. But he said something like, no, I think you'd be really good for a podcast. You're a really good conversationalist.
Yeah, I agree.
And then since having him tell me that, I've had like 8 or 9 other people tell me the same thing.
Really? That's awesome.
So I was like, all right, I may as well do it. Like, if people think that I'm an okay conversationalist, then I feel like I'm kind of built for this, so why not? Let's do it.
That's awesome.
So,
do you feel like you've learned something like over each podcast you've done so far?
I have, yeah.
And is that something you focus on?
Yeah, I think so. One thing too is when I share the podcast with people, every single time I'm like, you don't have to listen to it. Like, don't feel obligated by any means to listen to it. If you do listen to it though, I would love feedback. And like sometimes people are like, do you just want positive feedback? Or are you looking for like critical feedback? Like my buddy Caleb had told me that. And I was like, critical feedback. Like, give me anything you can. Yeah. Like, I want to make this as good as I can. And after the episode with Drake too, I had been sitting on those first 3 episodes for like 4 months.
Drake was your 3rd episode, right?
He was my 3rd episode, yeah. And I was just like, I need it. Having ADHD, I don't know if you feel the same way or if you even have ADHD.
I think I do.
I think
I've
you do.
never talked to a doctor about it, but I'm pretty sure.
certain you do, yeah. But there's something about like, if it's not perfect, sometimes you get into analysis paralysis and you just like, I couldn't release them because I couldn't edit them. You know what I mean? Until finally I reached out to my brother who designed like the thumbnail for it, which is super unoriginal. I love it. It's just a red background, white lettering in Helvetica. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think it fits your your name as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just decided to like not edit them at all, and just release them, because if I take that first step, then the rest of it kind of pushes me into making it happen.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So episode 4 on are going to be edited finally, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Do you listen to Lex Friedman podcast at all?
I don't. I'm very familiar with who he is. I follow him on Instagram, but I don't listen to his podcast.
Really? Why do you follow him on Instagram but not listen to his podcast?
He's just an interesting dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's very interesting. I'm just surprised, like, I feel like, yeah, that's just interesting. You don't listen to his podcast, but you follow his Instagram. I don't know why. Because his podcast is obviously, like, way bigger to his life than his Instagram is,
yeah.
you know?
For sure.
But he just had Mr. Beast on.
I saw that.
It's whatever, but... I mean, Mr. Beast, you can't deny, has built one of the most, like, the best content creation things of all time, and I feel like he had some really good points of discussion on building, like, from the ground up, whether really for any business, but especially for, like, content-based business, and that was a big thing he talked about, was, like, make 100 videos before you ever even expect anything out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's going to be a grind, but, like, if you really just like try to learn something after each episode or each video, like I think you can grow and eventually grow exponentially, like way fast. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been on a podcast, obviously. Just
You're killing it.
Simple old Colby, but like, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it's cool that you just like jumped out and did it. That's part of like why I like wanted to bail multiple times this morning and be like,
really?
I'm way too anxious. I can't do this. But I was like, you know what? Like, I'll just do it. We'll just push for it and it'll be whatever. But
dude, you know what's funny about that though? Like, I also get that like weird anxiety of like, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on Tuesday, I really wasn't feeling great, but I was definitely able to do it.
Yeah,
like I was definitely good enough. And so I was like, I'm gonna have to bail.
No, dude, I feel that 100%. Yeah, that's exactly how I am, bro. But like, I feel like I almost never regret something that I end up doing. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, whatever. Might as well just go do it. See what a podcast is like, you know?
Yeah, man. What do you think of it so far?
We're better than doing it with like one of my best friends all time. So
I appreciate that.
dude, it's been fun. I felt like I've taken Adderall twice in my life.
Yeah.
And when I've taken Adderall, I just don't shut up. I feel like that's how I am right now. It's like interesting. I haven't been in this state of mind where I just like don't shut up, or like I just want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Except for when I've taken Adderall, so that it just feels like I'm on Adderall. I don't know why.
High on life, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
For the listeners at home, by the way, that don't know, Colby was the best man at my wedding. We're very, very good friends.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I feel like the podcast is interesting.
How long have we been friends for?
We've been friends. I've known who you are
Since we were like 7 or
since
something.
Yeah, like 7 or 8 years old or something like that.
When
like,
did you?
really long.
Did you? So you didn't live in Highland next to like me originally, right? That's your second house that you lived at?
No, so when I was born, we lived in a house like way down the street, kind of by the church that you used to go to. And then 3 months after I was born, we moved into the house that my parents lived at when I met you.
Oh, really?
Or that my
So
dad
you lived
lived
there
at.
like always?
Yeah, always.
Dang.
And so I knew like Nate and Logan and Caden like my entire life. Our fire ended. Wow, it means we're at an hour.
That went by fast.
It does go fast. But anyway, I had lived like super close to you the entire time. So that's why how I'd known who you are, but we hadn't actually started hanging out till like 8th grade.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I always like try to think about back on like my childhood. I just don't remember that much stuff, and it like kind of sucks, but it's like also like maybe a good thing. I don't know.
Do you feel?
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do you feel that like you can compartmentalize like weird bits of information, like you'll know a lot about certain things, and then just like latch onto that information?
No,
and
I just
know
think my long-term memory is so bad.
Really?
Like, absolutely atrocious. Yeah. Like,
Interesting.
Like I don't know why, but on my way over here, definitely not gonna say names, but I was trying to think of like I drove past a sign that had a relation to one of my exes from a long time ago.
Okay.
I couldn't even remember how I met one of my exes that I dated for like 3 months.
Really?
I was like, how did I even meet that person? Like, yeah, there's so many things I just have no clue.
Interesting. I'd be curious to know who this ex was, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
That's a postcast kind of thing.
Postcast conversation. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all good though. Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on. We hit an hour. That's probably the rule of thumb. If you want to go longer, we can. But normally, like, this is just good.
That's
you know what I
fine.
mean?
That's
pretty
great.
palatable for most people. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks everybody for listening. Join us next time.